Welcome back to Frontline Insights. I'm Bill Brandt. We're here live at Interop 2011 in New York City still. I'm here with Brian Mason, Director of Product Marketing for Xirrus. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we were talking a bit. You guys had a big presence here, and obviously a lot of what you guys do around wireless technologies, exploding, mobility, all these types of things. But you guys are still a relatively newcomer in the market. Probably a lot of people haven't heard about you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Xirrus and what you guys are up to these days?
Okay, yeah, we've got a lot going on. We just did a really big launch at Xirrus. That's kind of part of the big presence here as well. So, but just a little background on Xirrus. We're a wireless networking company. We make wireless access points. But what we do differently is we really focus on high performance wireless access. As you and I were discussing earlier, more and more people are using wireless for their primary network connection. And we're really focused on being sure that people's wireless experience is as robust and reliable and high performing as their wired connection is. So what we were announcing at the show this week was a new modular type chassis for access points. So most access points have two radios, they have very low throughput, and they're a fixed type architecture. What we were announcing at the show is a multi-radio architecture that actually holds up to 16 radios and a single chassis. So you actually get up to 8 times the bandwidth of a traditional access point with a single device. So you have 8 times the throughput, you can support 8 times as many users and handle 8 times as many devices as you need to compared to a single normal access point out there.
Yeah, that's impressive, and no wonder why you guys are growing so fast, combined with just the industry trend as a whole with mobility and wireless, and we're talking about the explosion of tablets and obviously smartphones and every other handheld device or widget you can think of. You guys are right in a sweet spot there. Yeah,
no, that's exactly right. It's an amazing growth, like you say, with the iPads are probably our best friend in the wireless company, because as more and more devices are coming out, more people are becoming dependent on the wireless. But the big trend that's happening with wireless devices is they aren't even having an Ethernet port these days. It's like you look at the iPad, it doesn't have a physical Ethernet port anywhere. It has to be wireless. Smartphones don't have an Ethernet port, obviously. And realistically, even with a laptop, most of us have a laptop because we want it to be portable. So, what's happened in the past is wireless network has always been kind of an afterthought. It's been like a nice to have type function. So most IT guys might throw up a couple of access points kind of in a hot style format. Well, it works over here, it doesn't work over there. If people didn't like it, they just go plug into their wired network. But as more and more people are becoming dependent on their wireless and their wireless devices, IT managers are having to reevaluate their wireless networks and figure out a way to make that really scalable and robust and easy to manage. And so that's exactly what Xirrus is trying to address.
Yeah, and so in what you just said represents a lot of opportunity for the wireless marketplace, but are there any particular industries or markets or where in particular you're seeing an opportunity for growth or an opportunity for these types of solutions to help end user customers?
Yeah, well, like you say, it's pretty big everywhere because everybody's working at it. But education space is by far the heaviest user of Wi-Fi. They just were really quick to grasp onto the modularity and the portability of tablets and laptops. Instead of having to take kids down to a computer lab, they can bring the tablets to the kids, or universities, of course, these days. I was talking to one of the universities, the local universities here, and he said they're giving an iPad tablet to every kid that comes in, and it just gives teachers that much more of an opportunity. Another really hot market right now is healthcare. There's a lot of financial money going in, a lot of incentives for hospitals to be more electronic health records, computer order entry for prescriptions, things like that. And so it's not realistic for a doctor or a nurse to go see a patient and run back to a computer and enter all that stuff in and go back and see another patient. And so that's where you're seeing a lot of tablets. I think 75% of doctors these days have some type of Apple portable device that they use. And so, because there's a lot of what they call the ARA funds, it's like, well, they had to have certain milestones achieved by the end of this year and end of next year to get that. So they're really trying to ramp up their uses there. Also for like medical imaging, so doctors can now walk in, take out an iPad tablet, show them all this MRIs, the CAT scans, the X-rays, things like that, and make it much more obvious to the patient what they're seeing and what they're doing. So so those are two really hot industries right now. And then also just convention space and exhibition halls like this. We do a lot of work with, we do the Google shows, the Microsoft, their events. We work with RAM for their BlackBerry show down in Florida. They're having 3,000 or 4,000 people come in, and we all expect to have wireless these days, right? If you walk in, you can't get on the internet, people start to freak out. And so these types of events, they're having large user densities and looking at Xirrus because of the multi-radio architecture, because of the range and the increased throughput they're going to have. They won't need to support all those users and all those devices that are coming into their events.
That's awesome. So now you guys, went to market initially with more of a direct model, but from what we were talking about, the channel is important to you guys, a big growth opportunity working with the channel. Why don't you explain a little bit how the channel plays into your strategy going forward?
Yeah, exactly. We did direct, and it was good to have an educated sales force that could go out and talk to the customers. But ultimately, with any kind of networking equipment, it's all about budget cycles. And so we can walk into a customer, whether they just bought a brand new Wi-Fi network from somebody else 6 months ago or a year ago. No matter how good we are, most people aren't going to do a swap and replace, just 6 months later. So for us, it's really important to be in front of the customer at the right time. And so by going to a distributor model and a reseller model, it gives us that many more feet on the street and the opportunities to be in front of customers when they're making their purchase decisions and to educate the people about what they're doing. And so it's been a great opportunity for us. The partners and the distributors and the channel partners have been really excited about the Xirrus technology. What we're doing is significantly different than what some of the other people in the industry are doing. And so the channel partners can appreciate what we're doing and why we're doing it, and they know it gives them a really good opportunity to get in front of their customers and give them a good product that they can sell. So we've been bringing on channel partners as quickly as we can. We have a pretty extensive training program for those guys to get them up to speed on our product and also Wi-Fi in general. So it's been a really good go for us the past 18 months, really getting that up to speed.
So the channel partners, obviously, you got great technology and it's in a sweet spot that's growing. How about from a services, solutions perspective, how do the partners help add value to your product? I mean, can they have opportunity to do some of the design work on the front end, the support on the back end? Where do the partners fit in terms of their value add?
Yeah, so we've got a pretty wide range. We have from the very basic level, just the partners go and knock on the door, find the opportunity, and do the paper, but just pretty much distribute the product through. But then kind of most of our partners, actually, as you said, they kind of talk to their customer, help them design the Wi-Fi network, and then sell the product and help them do the implementation. We also have customers that do level 1, level 2 support, and then we actually go so far as we're now starting to bring a lot of our customers that are doing managed services as well.
Yeah.
So they're actually going to sell the arrays, or what we call arrays, the access points, to the customer, and actually design and implement it, but then more importantly, actually then manage their network for them after that. So the customer pretty much never has to touch the device. They don't have to worry about configuration or monitoring. We have partners doing that for them to do 24/7 monitoring. If something happens in the middle of the night, our partners will go in and fix those problems for them and do the configuration changes as they need to. So it's a pretty wide gamut of what they do, and we're pretty flexible in that implementation strategy. Depending on how involved our partners want to be, we can let them do any of those aspects they want to. If they just want to find the customer, we can help do the design and the support, or if they want to have a little bit more exposure, they can do the design as well, all the way down to having complete control. So it's pretty much up to the partners, and we're flexible enough, and obviously we like having that wide range because those work with different types of customers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of one final point on that is security is obviously a big play there. How do you guys, with wireless, everybody's concerned about security. Right. How does the security angle tie into what you guys are providing?
Well, no, that's a great question, because we talk about wireless, people automatically think worried about security because there's been some horror stories about wireless having some problems. And unfortunately, a lot of those problems were brought on by the industry ourselves, because when Wi-Fi first came out, 15 years ago, there were some really big holes in the security. But that was addressed several years ago by the IEEE and also the Wi-Fi Alliance with their newer protocols for WPA2 and specifically AES encryption, which is supported on your phones, your Blackberries, your tablets. All your devices these days will support AES. And so basically security has pretty much gone away as being a real concern. People are concerned about it because they have heard things from the past, but really Wi-Fi security has been completely eliminated. I will always kind of give the analogy in the booth is the U.S. Marines use the Wi-Fi array in the field. They actually, in the Pacific Rim, they actually use it. And on the wireless side, they use the consumer-grade encryption because it's that secure. On the wired side, they actually have their own special encryption because they don't trust the wired side, but they actually trust the wireless. So they have consumer-grade encryption because it's that secure. Any industry or body you would think of that's worried about security, like HIPAA with healthcare, PCI payment credit card industry for the credit cards, the financial industries, any certification body, PHIPS for government work, they've all validated and support using Wi-Fi in those networks as long as you're using the latest wireless technology, which is the AES, WPA2. And so it's been perfectly secure. And so as long as people kind of follow best practices, which we have, by default, obviously, in our devices, and again, any consumer device is going to have it built in also. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, I served in the Marine Corps about 20 years ago.
All right, there you go.
So if the Marines use your product, it must be some good stuff.
There you go. I appreciate it. Thanks
All
a lot.
right, Brian. Thanks
So
for coming
good.
out on the show. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for having me. Thanks. Good being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look forward to good things from you guys.
All right, thank you.
All right.